What's up, everybody? I'm Virginia, and you're watching another episode of Virginia Tries Almost Everything. So today I'm going to be grooming my dog, and I'm not a groomer. I've never groomed anybody's dog, let alone my own dog, but I can't take her to PetSmart because everything's shut down, and she needs to get groomed. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm her owner, she's been my dog for almost 13 years, who better to groom her than her own mother? So one thing that the videos that I watched said that the first thing you need to do is always wash the dog. So I'm about to wash her. I have a detangling comb because she has long shaggy hair. And I just have like some regular oatmeal shampoo that you can get from like pretty much any store that has dog stuff. So let's go. So I feel like now would be the perfect time to go into the actual back history of Minnie and I. And it all started when I was 9. And my dad was dating this woman, and she was really into him, but my dad wasn't really feeling her. So she kept coming up with all these different schemes to try to make him fall more in love with her. And her best scheme to date was buying me a dog for my 9th birthday. And she told me that she was going to buy it for me. And at first I didn't believe her because when you're young, adults are always lying to you. But the time came when she was like, okay, I got the dog, like, I'm gonna bring it by the house and all that stuff. I'll never forget it. It was a Sunday, and my dad and I were sitting in church, and I kept asking him, like, is it time for the dog yet? Like, are we gonna get the dog now? And he's like, pay attention to what the pastor's saying. But I went home, and the dog wasn't there, and I was disappointed. And I took a nap because I just couldn't control myself. And I woke up, and my brother, he was like, the dog's here. And I ran downstairs, and she was wrapped up in a, training pad sheet. You know, like those little puppy pad sheets? She was wrapped up in that, and she was, the size of, a Beanie Baby. And she was so cute, and I instantly fell in love. And my brother and I, we were playing with her and looking at her and trying to decide what we were going to name her. And my initial thought was to name her Daisy. But my brother, he was like, well, she gives mini bites, so we should name her Mini Bite. Cause whenever you put your hand toward her face, she would nibble on you. So that was okay, that makes sense. So we should do it. And thus the legend of Mini Bite was born. And almost 13 years later, she's still around and just as bad as always. And chews on tissues and paper towels and cords and chargers and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's been great. She's been with me since I was graduating 5th grade, and now had I gone to college, I'd be graduating college this year. So a great big while. And I can't imagine, my life, what it's gonna be like without her. Eventually, someday that's gonna come to fruition, but for the time being, I'm really glad. And, that lady that my dad dated is no longer around. I don't know where she is. I think she might have gone remarried to somebody else. But I will forever be grateful for her and what she did, and the fact that she was willing to do pretty much anything to get my dad to fall in love with her. So the next thing that they usually tell you to do is to blow dry the dog. So here I have my handy dandy blow dryer, and I'm gonna finish detangling her. She's trying to escape, and I'm gonna finish drying her and detangling her, and then we're gonna move into the cutting part. So one of Minnie's favorite pastimes is actually running away from home, and she does it pretty frequently. And for a little while, she did it almost twice a week or something, something crazy. So we have a big backyard, and we don't always want to just watch her do whatever she's doing and eat grass and chase squirrels. So we'll just open the door and we'll leave her out there, and then whenever she scratches the door, we let her back in. And that worked for a little while. But I guess she kind of got tired of us doing that, and she decided that she's just gonna do whatever and run away. So for a little while, we would put her in the backyard and close the door, and just, 5, 10, 15 minutes will go by, and we're like, something's not right. And we'd check, and of course, she's gone. And what she would do is she would dig a hole under the gate where she would see us go in and out of the backyard from. And she dug a hole under the fence, and she would like run out into the neighbor's yard. And most of the time, like the neighbors would see her because they recognize her because she's been around for so long. Then they'd be like, "Your dog's in my yard," or they would actually come bring her to our door, or she'd run out in the street and people would almost hit her, and I'd find her that way. So yeah, and this one day, I wasn't home. I was at work, and my dad called me, and he was like, "Oh, Minnie got out again," and I was like, "Of course she did." And he was like, "When you get home from work, just try to look around the neighborhood and see if you find her." And I was like, "Cool," but I didn't get off work for a few hours, and by the time I got off, I completely forgot about it, and I went out with my friends. And so I get home the next morning, and I go to work again, and he calls me at work, and he's like, "Did you find Minnie?" And I'm like, "Minnie's not home?" And then he's like, "No, I have to go look for her." And I'm like, "Oh, yikes." So it's been a little less than 24 hours, and she's like missing. So I'm a little anxious, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm like, "Where's my dog? Like, what has she gotten into?" Because as you can see in the video, she doesn't wear a collar, because we usually let her hair get pretty shaggy, and the collar would just mat the hair around her neck. So I just stopped putting a collar on her, which is good and bad. And one of the bad things is that she is just some random dog on the street whenever she runs out. So thankfully we have a vet, a little emergency pet hospital right by my house. So usually people will take her there. But I went up there, and they said that they hadn't seen her, but they would keep an eye out. So now I was really worried, because I was like, either someone has stolen my dog, or she's like somewhere as a skid mark in the middle of the street. And so I called around, I went on my neighborhood's Facebook page, I asked some neighbors, and they said they hadn't seen her. But one thing that someone told me was to check the pound, which was for the whole city, which was like a half an hour away. And I was like, okay. And so I called, and they said that they had a dog that kind of fit her description, and that if I sent some pictures, then they were gonna see if it was her. And so I sent like a ton of pictures. So I was like, "Please, like, if this is my dog." And turned out it was her. And I don't know how she gotten so far away or whatever, but the pound picked her up, and she was there, and I had to pay like $50 to go get her and leave work for an hour and a half. But yeah, I eventually got my dog back, and of course it was right after I'd given her a bath, so she was all dirty and muddy again. So yeah, but overall, no, I was about to say overall she's a pretty good dog, but no, overall she's a pretty bad dog. Hold on.
Coronavirus!
All right, now it's time for the fun part. I'm really excited to see if I can actually groom my dog. Here I have some regular like human hair clippers. They're my brother's, so I've never used them before. And they're pretty straightforward. It's just like this little piece to like raise the, there's like two sets of like pieces, like two sets of like clippers, But if I push it down, then the second piece will come up. I don't know if you can see that, but like, yeah. So I think if it's like taller, then it's gonna be a less close shave, which I'm not really pressed about because I like her when she's really low anyway, and I'm not excited about doing this anytime soon again. So I'm gonna do it at the furthest away point, but I still think the furthest away point is still gonna be pretty low. And then it's just the little on switch, so should be pretty straightforward. All right, let's go. Oh, you are gonna be low. I'm dead. And so I think that I actually am gonna continue to groom me myself because the experience overall wasn't that bad. The bathing part is pretty average. She gets bathed pretty frequently. She's used to that. She doesn't like cold water. But the part that really gave me the most grief was the detangling session where I was blow drying her and brushing her out, and even though she looked so nice afterwards, she really wasn't a fan of it because she had a few knots and tangles that I was trying to get out that she kept, hurt, when you pulling on them, and she kept trying to bite me. So that was the part that definitely could use some help on in the future. But overall, it was fine. The actual cutting part actually went pretty smoothly as well. I was really surprised because I was worried that she would be really jerky and that I might accidentally cut her, but she was very still. A little bit too still, actually. She kept trying to lay down, and I needed her to stand up so I could get her whole body. But yeah, I think the slight vibration of the clippers was soothing her, so she was pretty relaxed. And I don't know how she normally is at the vet or at the groomers, but she did fine. So I think maybe being in her own environment helped soothe her out as well. So am I going to be giving anybody some taper fades anytime soon? I doubt it. But I do see myself grooming her, and then whatever future dog I have at some point. I think that it'll be pretty easy. I mean, for the most part, each dog is a little bit different in how you want to groom them, because some dogs you don't want to groom that low at all because they would look crazy. But yeah, I could see myself definitely doing this again, and I think that once I get more supplies and get actual dog clippers instead of human clippers, it'll go even better. And if I were to get some, leave-in conditioner or detangling spray that they have for dogs, because I'm sure they have it available somewhere, that she would be even more on board. So I think that everybody that has a pet, or at least has a dog, should try this at some point in the future, because it's a really nice bonding experience with your animal, and especially in a time like this where your options are limited and your free time is plentiful. Being so busy with work and going out and stuff, you don't always have enough time to spend with your animal as much as you'd like to. So this is a lot of fun. And you save like 50, 60, 70 bucks depending on how often you go and where you go and what kind of cut you usually get for the dog. You might not be able to get the nice teddy bear cut that you normally get from X grooming place, but they're clean, they've been cut down, and they're ready to go. So I definitely see that this is something that I'll continue to do. And let me know if you groom your dog, if you're doing that right now, or if you normally do that, and what kind of tips and tricks that you normally use to try to get your dog to stand up and be relaxed while you're blow drying them and cutting them and doing all that stuff. And if you're an actual groomer, then let me know how I did. And give me some pointers, because I definitely could use some tips. So be sure to leave a comment on what you'd like to see me do next. And I have some things in the pike, some ideas that I'm cultivating and working on. Of course, most of them involve other people and going out. But I have a few that I've been working on and thinking about that I could do in the house. So yeah, let me know what you'd like to see me do. And be sure to leave a comment and like and subscribe and push the bell for post notifications to be notified every time I make a new upload. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and be sure to drink plenty of water. Bye! I'm done. Look at all this hair. Oh my gosh. Man, we shaved off a whole other dog off you. Now it's time to go see what family thinks.
That's good. Where's all the hair go?
It's on my carpet.
Nanny?
Here, children will be able to play in a safe environment without fear of attack. They will also be able to receive counseling services to assist them in coping with ongoing trauma caused by these terrorist attacks from the Gaza Strip. As a thank you for your support in our initiative to comfort God's
That's where the hair
people, we'd
grows
like to
over the
send you a
eyes.
fully legal collection for your gift of $1,000 or more this month. You'll have your name inscribed on the Comfort My People Wall of Recognition in Israel. Your gift of
That's a lot of hair
$300
you
more
must
this
have
month.
on your pocket.
Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be that low, but I assumed it was going to be pretty low.
With your gift of $50 or more, we will send you the
Vacuum
whole
it up on your,
bundle,
sweep
including
it up
jets
and
and
put it
Franklins
in the
just for this
trash.
book.
Okay.
Throwing all that in the
With your
vacuum.
gift of any amount,
Okay.
we'll send you a copy of the devotion,
It
8
looks
Days
good,
That
yeah.
Changed
You
the
really have
World.
to go
Your
through
gift
all
and prayers are making a difference and bringing comfort to God's people in Israel.
right.
Call now or visit us online
Well,
today.
thanks for asking.
Definitely, Pop. I'll call you.
Well, Sharice and I are so excited about the
I'm buying
2020 trip to Israel.